Hi, welcome to this fifth lesson starting from scratch for the absolute beginner guitarist. I'm going to move today really quickly into another power chord lesson. This should be short and sweet. I've recorded this once or twice already and my audio failed, so hopefully I won't be skipping steps here as I run through this, kind of on a bit of autopilot right now. To review some of the things we've learned, we're starting to see that guitar is kind of a pick your own adventure idea. Every time I would get together with a student, even from the very first lesson, you'll see where they're at, what their aptitude is, and sort of tailor the whole day to that. There's a logical progression to what I want to do, but whenever we sit down, we would see that there's something new that would come to the fore and would guide our decisions, what we're going to go forward with. So far, we've learned the note names of the open strings, E, A, D, G, B, and E. We learned that. A little saying, Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie, can teach us that. We learned that we're going alphabetically, so if we started, for instance, on the B string, the next highest note, 1 fret higher, you go from open to pressing the first fret, that's B, which would be located off the fretboard at the nut, to C, 1 fret higher, to D, A, B, C, D, 3 frets up. E is next, we could continue, or we switch to the open E string. I don't really put my finger here, but you can imagine it there. A little higher to F, a little higher to G. We use those in Jingle Bells. E, 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 G, C, D, E. Then we move to the low string. I didn't point it out at the time, but if your high E has E, F, G, then your low string must, E, F, G. We used open E, 3rd fret G, and 5th fret A, and we said that was Smoke on the Water, 035. I briefly mentioned that this note's a B flat. We don't care to memorize that yet. Then we move to the A. Started going across 2 different strings to do A, D, and E. That was Wild Thing. And then we added a finger. So if you can play the bass note, you can practice a power chord. It's got that same root, but this finger is on the next string 2 frets over. This may be really loud. So then that power chord moves along as a unit, and that becomes the bottom end of many of your chords, but it does stand alone as a power chord. It looks like this, wherever you have this finger. This is an open-ended picture this time. It's not necessarily the 1st fret. This could be the 5th fret, then this one's on the other string at the 7. If this is 9, this finger, the ring finger, or pinky if you like, is up 2 frets at the 11. The progression I want to do today is the Andalusian progression. Basically a Spanish progression that you hear. And it comes from Spain, from a southern region called Andalusia. The progression is associated with flamenco music. That's usually how it comes to us. You would hear it maybe played with open chords. Here's with bar chords. Or power chords. You don't need to know the name. It's fun to hear these things though. Start to pick up the jargon a little bit as you go. It's just picking it up in context. You don't have to memorize these things yet. Even technically, to tell you what exactly is going on here and why it's the Andalusian progression or what demonstrates that isn't really of value right now. You just want to get immersed into every new situation or every new system that you're learning by starting to learn the language. It's that lack of language that keeps us from learning. Our minds don't know the words, so we just shut off. As soon as you start knowing the vocabulary, you start to feel like you understand what's happening, even if you haven't learned definitions yet. So we're on the 6th string. I am indicating here in tablature or tab are strings. The reason I put it with this picture is that you can relate the strings to that. This is Eddie 8 Dynamite, Goodbye Eddie, so we're on the low string. I'm going to hit the 5th fret, the 3rd, the 1st, and the open. So that could be 5, 3, 1st fret, and open. I'm going from right to left, so I'm going down in pitch and going down the alphabet. A goes down to where we start in G to F to E. We learned E, F, G, and A before. We're just going backward. So then you make these into power chords. If I have a 5th fret here, 7th fret there on the next string. The whole chord moves as a unit. This gets to 3, ring finger to 5, index finger to 1, ring finger to 3, and then the open power chord. So if this is accompanied by a 7, this by a 5, this by a 3, then open would have to have a 2 with it. That's indicated here. Open on the E and the 2nd fret. That last time I went, I showed you what it would look like if this finger just dragged off the guitar. 5 and 7, 3 and 5, 1 and 3. I'm going down one more fret to 0 and 2. You don't have to use this finger. I'm using it now so that you see the continuity. Usually you switch your fingers over. Open and 2. 1 and 3, open and 2. As we've learned these notes, this would be an A5, a G5, an F5, and this is an E5. There's your A, your G, your F, and your E. So this chord is a power chord, an E power chord, or an E5. Notice the open and the 2 are the exact same two, sorry, I'm in the way, are the exact same two notes we have the bottom of an E minor. We might as well learn these as well while we're here. While you have your E minor chord, you can add your pointer finger to the 3rd string and you get E major. Although it's E major, we don't write in major or a big M even usually, just E is enough. If you've got the E major and you remove the ring finger, so you have an open 4th string D, that's E7. So you can memorize these now too. You've gotten to E minor, you can make it E major, and E7. They all go well with A minor. We were doing that last time. We did A minors to E minors. I can drag this pointer with me now, and I have A minors and E majors. Or I could get there to the E and remove the ring finger. So A minor, E7, a little more color. So you can compare your 3 E's and memorize them. We'll do that a lot of times. We learned our chords in a certain progression, G, G7, C, D7, A minor, and E minor. But also at points we'll go, well, here's D7 and D minor. Make sure you can distinguish between the 3 of the chords that we'll learn at each time. You don't know them yet, don't worry, but with the E we do. So you've got your notes on your guitar. You can see what a power chord looks like. This is the E5 power chord. There's a variety of E chords, and there's the Andalusian progression. You'll recognize this one from many songs, maybe just a Spanish sound. You may not even be able to distinguish the song, but you would recognize it. That E might be our home bass, or there might be another chord, the A minor, that we want to get back to. This is also many rock, pop, and blues songs. The Stray Cats would use this progression in Stray Cat Strut. It's on a different note, but it's the same progression. They'll play that progression on one string, and then on the chorus, move it up to the next string. The Ventures, Walk Don't Run, would do it as a surf rock song. Something like that. Eric Clapton does it in Cocaine. I'll do it in a different key here. The main riff of this song is 2 power chords. Paused and done again. And then for the refrain, he will do this bluesy descent or the Andalusian progression. Cocaine. You'll also recognize it from Metallica, Iron Maiden. A lot of metal bands use it. It shows up everywhere. For us, it's a great way to work on moving your power chord, learning what the open power chord looks like. It's the exact same chord, we've just located it at the open string for the lowest note. Those 2 notes of a power chord then become the template for our other chords. All of these build up on top of a power chord. We have the root 5, the E5, and then adding different notes will create major, minor, or 7 sounds. The power chord lacks any of the real color and it doesn't define your key so much, so it becomes a really nice staple for rock music when they want the scales to identify and not the chords. So that should do for this short one. Hopefully all this works. Hopefully you'll come back and pick up some more. Thanks very much. Bye for now.